Sarasota, Florida. Is it as great as they say?
We're going to tell you what Area Vibes thinks about it and what we think about what Area Vibes thinks about it. And we're getting started right now.
Oh my gosh, food and drink. F.
So Area Vibes is a popular review tool to review cities, areas, and things like that. Obviously areas. But we feel like it's not always accurate, I guess you could say, or not as nuanced as it could be.
Sometimes some things are accurate, some are not as accurate, but we'll tell you what we think it's accurate and what's not.
Yeah, and our personal preference, I'd say, would be niche.com. We feel like they're a little more accurate, I guess you could say, or like close to what we personally feel like when we're in a city. It just matches up a little better with our personal perspective. But I guess everyone's different. I feel like this is interesting, the way they're defining Sarasota. We did a previous video on the channel. You can go back and check the other cities we did, like we did Northport, South Sarasota, though I thought was interesting that they designated as separate. And then you look at Sarasota, and it's including all these pockets, and then it's kind of got these disjointed little islands that are also considered Sarasota. But
right, and then like North Sarasota, it's not included in there, and Southgate.
And Gulfgate, I think, is down here too.
Yeah, and Siesta Key is not included on there either.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but livability score overall, it's an 80 out of 100. So I think that's pretty good.
I think that's the highest that we've had on the list so far, which is interesting because we might do a separate video talking about all these actual different areas and just kind of hovering over them. But if you hover over most of them, none of them got up to that 80 mark.
The downtown?
Nope.
68.
Gillespie Park was the highest at 74, at least that I saw. So
that's interesting.
I don't know how I got an 80 overall.
How about St. Armand's?
Their math that doesn't always make sense.
41.
Probably because of the cost of living.
Yeah.
So if you want us to do a full video, leave us a comment and we'll kind of go through all those different areas and give you our thoughts.
But amenities, A+.
It's one of the first times we've had a city on the list. And we keep coming back talking about Sarasota and the other cities too, saying like, well, you can always drive up to Sarasota. And
so see, we're not lying.
Yeah. There is plenty here.
Yes, there is 16 coffee shops. That's not accurate.
There's probably more.
Yeah, lots more, I think.
But they still give that an A+, which is good to know.
Yeah. There's a lot of different coffee shops in the downtown area. Really good ones too. And sprinkled throughout the city.
It's interesting. It's not letting me click these to show more. Last time when I clicked like coffee and stuff, all the other cities, it would show you like the ones that they're including. But
entertainment, it's an A+. I think that's very accurate. Sarasota is a little bit of a bigger city, so there's a lot of different things to do. If you like more nature or the beach, you also have access to that as well.
Yeah, they have opera houses, Van Wezel, Performing Arts Center, I'm trying to think, a whole bunch more. Parks,
library, right in the downtown area.
The Moat Aquarium is awesome.
Marina Bayfront Park in the downtown as well.
And John Ringling Museum. Yes. And the Jungle Gardens. We haven't been there yet. Really want to get there. But.
And the Mary Selby too.
Yep.
Which, that's technically in Osprey/Sarasota.
Yeah. And I thought this was interesting. They didn't do this for any of the other cities. They actually ranked them based on their amenities, all the little pockets of neighborhoods in the area. So that's good to know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, food and drink. F. Yeah, that's not accurate. As you can see from Jesse's face. Zoom in right here.
Yeah, wow. So Sarasota, I forgot, I can never remember the stat when we always talk about it in the videos, but it's like has the most, not Michelin, what's the Zagat? I don't even know how you say it. I don't pay attention to a lot of those, but it has the most Zagat, or however you say it, restaurants, I think for the size of the city by population or square miles or something like that. I think definitely in Florida, if not the entire United States. So for them to have an F on food and drink tells you that Area Vibes, they're getting something wrong on some of this stuff.
Yes, definitely. And there is a lot of different cuisines to pick from, a lot of different restaurants.
I've never been disappointed with anything we've got in Sarasota.
Yes.
Ever. So and we've probably been to, I don't know,
a lot of restaurants.
30 to 40 different places. So I mean, we haven't been everywhere, but come on, Area Vibes, get it together. Fitness, A+. I don't know why they're not letting us click this, because normally you can click. Maybe
it's too much.
Yeah, and they'll list them out. But yeah, groceries. I feel like groceries, they have 2 Trader Joe's now.
Yeah.
Well, one wouldn't be in here because that's in UTC shopping area. And actually the other one,
in here?
and the other one was in South Sarasota. So technically it wouldn't be in this area. But you could quickly drive to get to a Trader Joe.
They have Whole Foods right in the downtown, which is pretty cool. Sometimes we'll just go and walk around downtown or hang out for the day, and then we'll stop by the grocery store. So that's pretty cool to have.
Yeah, not everyone gets a Whole Foods really. So I mean,
Yeah, Sprouts is a big one here too.
Yep, that's again on the south end of Sarasota, but it's at your, driving distance. And yeah, they got neighborhood Walmart neighborhood markets, regular Walmarts.
Publix.
Yeah, they got you covered. They got all the, I mean, I don't know. I C- feels kind of me.
Yeah.
Parks, A+. Yeah.
Shops, A+, yeah.
I'm just really mad about the food and drink yet, but we'll continue on. I could talk about that a little longer. But...
Commute, A.
So we've been saying this in a lot of the other videos, how we feel like Sarasota would fare a little better, but actually fares way better than every other city we've covered, but they're based this all on public transportation.
Yeah.
It's not about driving.
So it seems that people are using the public transportation, but again, like workers taking public transit, that's an F. So...
And that's just, I think, the nature of, Florida. A lot of people that come down here, they plan on driving.
And most of the country set up that way anyway. Like you have to have a car to go anywhere, really.
Yeah, unless
you're in the downtown area. Of
yeah,
city.
like if you live in a Frisco, Chicago, New York City, maybe something like that. Okay, that is reasonable. But everyone else, that's just kind of the way the cities in the United States are built. Cost of living, a B.
Wow.
That's actually better than I would have thought. Didn't South Sarasota get really low, or was that Osprey?
Osprey. And it's only 2% higher than the entire state. So I don't think that's too bad. I mean...
I would have expected the cost of living to be...
Higher?
Yeah, higher or a lower rating, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, like a C maybe.
Yeah.
The actual cost of living thing for goods, services, and housing, they're giving a D. And then, so how does it get a B over? I don't understand area-wise sometimes. And then everyone gets an A or an A+. I think some have got an A.
For income tax.
For tax rates, yeah, because there's no state income tax, but A or an A+. And I think a lot of that's just because there's no state income tax. We'll talk more cost of living, I think, when we get to the houses. But yeah, as far as goods and services, like I don't see a huge difference there compared to the rest of the United States.
It's a little bit higher. Sales taxes are a little higher here by like 1% or so.
Yeah, at least then from where we're from in Wisconsin and from Orlando.
From Orlando area,
yeah. And the actual cost of goods and services seems a little higher maybe than some other areas, but I don't know, not astronomical.
No.
Crime, an F.
I'm actually not too surprised at this because it is a bigger city, so you are going to have more crime, but at the same time, it's kind of like on the smaller end, and I feel like a true F, you would feel unsafe walking everywhere. And
I never have ever.
Yeah, or even driving for that matter.
I mean, there's definitely a few pockets or areas or times where you're like, okay, maybe this area I don't want to be in for a long period of time, but yeah, just compared to some other cities I've been in and areas, like I feel like it fares better. And again, like you said, I expected it to be a little worse than, Venice or Northport or small towns like that, or smaller cities, I guess you could say. But I think an F is a little harsh. Yeah. But they are basing it on data, 3,144 crimes per 100,000 for property and 659 for 100,000 for violent crime.
Okay.
But based on my personal feelings when I'm there, I would give it like a B.
Yeah, with like our experience being there and going there a lot, it doesn't feel unsafe.
Yeah, and like so when you're in the downtown, the main downtown of Sarasota, I'd say that's probably like one of the areas where it would be maybe a little higher feeling, just because there's more people there and yada yada. But just about everywhere else, I would say is significantly like not much different than like Venice.
Yeah.
Like in more residential areas, but that's, I don't know, just my personal opinion. But you also got to consider, I mean, that's also including downtown Sarasota, Starn Circle. There's lots of businesses. Like a lot of these areas have a lot of like big chains and businesses and things like that. And generally, if you go to any city on the crime map, that's where the crimes are happening usually, is in these like big shopping areas and things like that.
And also when you have a lot of tourists too, there is a lot more crime. So because of Siesta Key and a lot of people going to Siesta Key and tourists being in the area, that could be also bringing the crime up. And
actually I do remember that from when we were looking before we moved to Florida to the Orlando area. Like they're basing it on 100,000 people that live there.
Yeah.
And a lot of these areas like Sarasota and Orlando get a lot of people coming in. So that really raises, because there's a lot of people there that don't live there, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's going to make the statistics a little bit skewed. Employment, So yeah, actually thinking about it a little more, when you put that into the equation, I can kind of see the F, because Sarasota is like a travel destination for sure.
But even then, though, I feel like, I don't know, like if you go to, say, New York City, you expect things to happen, so you're going to be more careful.
Yeah.
I mean, like Manhattan, you don't feel unsafe, but you're going to be a little more careful, right? With Sarasota, I don't feel like that's the case.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's a lot of tourists, but it's not like an overwhelming amount.
Yeah. Yeah. It just doesn't feel like you have to be on edge and like always
Yeah.
like, make sure my wallet, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know. Employment, B minus. Income, wow.
56.
Osprey was way higher than this, and I want to say South Sarasota was like a
little
60
higher.
something
70.
thousand or 70. You're right,
Yeah.
74,000 ish.
That's interesting. So
Yeah.
56.
It's kind of shocking, actually,
Yeah.
just because a lot of these areas are going to be more expensive generally.
Well, like St. Armand's Circle, that's an expensive area to be in.
Or even downtown Sarasota,
Yeah.
like, or within a couple mile radius of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Unemployment rate does very well. And again, we got to say this one more time. I wonder how accurate some of the data is, like as far as when we, especially talking numbers of like the median household income and the median sale price for the home, just because sometimes it just doesn't add up with
What the rating is.
well, and what we see on a personal basis with dealing with real estate. By the way, if you do want to buy or sell a home in the area, call, text, or email our team 941-221-1897. But yeah, just based on some of that, like in comparing data on area vibes, it's just like
it doesn't translate.
it's either out of date or something's not right there. Health, A+. Not surprised. You got Sarasota Memorial Hospital, as we've often said, one of the highest rated hospital systems in Florida.
Lots of different medical facilities throughout the city. And then, of course, the air quality.
Pristine. All the water at the beach, so it's like really hard for there to be a lot of pollution, and there's not a lot of factories and stuff, so, and that there is a fair amount of traffic, but not enough to make this ridiculous amount of smog. So
Housing A+, wow.
that's a shocker.
291.5. Okay, that's very not.
There's just
that's
just no way. I almost swore, but
and it
no
says
way.
so Sarasota home prices are 291,500, which is 75% higher than the rest of Florida, but 291, it's not accurate. There's no way.
It's hard for us to definitively say because they're including such random and whatever areas, but it'd probably be what you think, like closer to like 400,
yeah,
maybe 4 something.
Yeah.
Home appreciation, like we've said this in every other video we've done on Area Vibes reviews. Yeah, everything here is going up. It's the hot spot.
And affordability, it's an F, which yes, it is an issue in Florida and a lot of the country really as a whole. We're having home affordability issues pretty much everywhere right now.
And I think especially when you put it in context with what they're saying, the median income is for a household at $56,000, which is just wild to me. I don't think it's accurate, but
yeah, and then it gets housing A+ as a whole, so it just doesn't equate.
Yeah. I would think people are earning way more than what it's saying, but also the home prices are way more
higher.
Are way more.
And there's a lot of people that moved here that moved from a different part of the country or the world, and they have either a business or they have a work from home job that their wages actually, if they lived in California and they were getting paid a really good wage there, here they were able to transfer that same wage, so they are earning a lot more money, so they are able to afford living here, while maybe if they were still in California, they wouldn't be able to afford as nice of a lifestyle with that same wage.
I'm wondering too if how that's getting calculated or is not getting calculated in the median home. Like if you're working from home in Sarasota, but your actual company you're working for is in like California. Are they giving that to Sarasota? Or are they giving that to California? I don't know. You would think Sarasota.
But more, I think most of the people that live in Sarasota work in Sarasota, and that's the majority, while the minority are coming from other areas, bringing that work from home job to the area. So it's still going to be a big difference in the wage. And
thinking about some of the other cities we've covered on this, I would actually think, if you're living in Sarasota and working from home for a company in California, they're probably counting that as like Sarasota income. But
still, as a whole, most people are going to be making less than.
Yeah. Schools.
B-. Okay. Wow. Test scores.
We should note this again. Sarasota County recently moved up to #1 county in Florida
Yeah.
for being rating for school system. So
it doesn't, like, the grades they're giving it doesn't translate to what's reality.
and from the other cities we've done, we have seen higher scores. So maybe the other school systems are bringing Sarasota up a little in Northport, Osprey, Venice, Nokomis. So
Yeah, could be, since they're taking everything as a whole. But most of the schools are getting an F, that like the elementary schools and the high schools are getting an F.
in every city we've done.
Yeah, which we know that there are a lot of great schools in the area. It's just, it's not equating to what's reality and what's area vibes.
Yeah, it's just weird because area vibes is just handing out Fs left and right for the elementary schools and the high schools. Yet they're giving, you know, overall high grades, and then most of them are doing really, really well in school test scores and high school graduation rates.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
Yeah. And I want to say there was a high school in one of the cities we covered where it was like an 84%. I want to say they got like an F or something like that. So this one's an 85 and can get a C. I don't know. They're weird.
It might be depending on size too.
Could be.
Size of the city. Sarasota is a little bit bigger, so that's why it's a little lower. Or higher.
And our overall ratings from people is an F. And I can tell you why.
Yeah.
Can you tell us why?
Yeah. A lot of people are trying to keep Sarasota small, which it's impossible at this point anymore. But a lot of, especially locals, they don't want more people moving to the area because, you know, home prices are going up. So now it's making it unaffordable for them, which makes sense. So they're trying to keep people out by leaving bad reviews. We've seen this firsthand in the Venice groups. A lot of people saying, you know, like, we're full or really bad to live, or even in comments in our YouTube videos, people will be like, shh, don't tell anyone. Like,
and we've literally seen people have back and forth conversations, like saying, like, they're saying this to keep people out.
Yeah.
And it's not that they actually think it's that bad. I also do think, though, there is probably some people that, like, if you moved to Sarasota or were born in Sarasota, like 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and you see the changes happening, it's not what you knew when you moved there and what you moved there for. And there's a lot of changes that come as the city grows with, like, traffic, there's more businesses, maybe some more crime, and
all the development too. Like, if you grew up, you know, like 50, 60 years ago, if you grew up in a city that was more kind of like all Florida stuff,
natural nature.
Yes, very nature centric. And now you see like all this, like, roads being paved, trees being cut, houses being built. Yeah, of course you're gonna be like, okay, like, this is not my city anymore. Like, it's growing too much. You're getting rid of all the beauty. So yeah, people are going to get upset. I think that's just human nature.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you come down to Sarasota and experience it for yourself, I think you'll be able to judge for yourself if it's for you or if it's not for you. I think a lot of these people giving an F, so like you can't just look at, I think, these reviews and say, oh no, that's an F. Like, that's their user reviews, and we've always felt like the surveys are a little more accurate, which that's giving it a C+.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think if you come visit it for yourself, you'll be able to tell for you what it is. Is it a C? Is it an A? Is it, you know, what? Because everyone's different, has different, you know, preferences. But I think a lot of these reviews are based on what it was to what it is now, and they're leaving the review because as a response to it not being what it was anymore.
Or another thing too is if you're moving from a different part of the country or the world, and you're used to a certain way of life, and then you move to Florida or Sarasota, and it's like way different than what you're used to, you get like kind of like homesick, and it's like, okay, this back home would be this way, or whatever the case might be. And it's not necessarily Sarasota, it's just that like Florida as a whole might not be for you.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to consider with this is, like, Sarasota is more of a city now. It's not this small beach town that a lot of people used to know. So,
and it's hard to even picture that.
If you are maybe in a small town now, there's going to be some change to get used to with it being a bigger city, and maybe you do or don't want that. You know, some people are like, I'm sick of being in the small town, I want more at my fingertips. And if you're from more of a big city, like let's say like New York, I think a lot of those people are gonna like Sarasota because it's big enough, but it's not quite as crazy.
And it would still feel like a small town to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, but still have enough big city-ish, you know, amenities and good restaurants, even though Area Vibe says they don't, and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think those nuances get missed
Yes.
when you look at these area vibe scores, which is why we're doing a lot of these reviews.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Sarasota area, make sure to call, text, or email our real estate team, 941-221-1897.
Call or text anytime, whether you're looking to move in the next few days or the next few months. We hear from people all the time. We love it. We'd love to help you find your dream home.
To learn more about life in Sarasota, check out this video right here.
And be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications to catch our newest videos about the area. If you found the video helpful, hit the like button. It helps us out a lot with the algorithm. And live breezy.